Hi everybody, I'm Bolt, and welcome back to Danganronpa 2, and it is finally time to start the Danganronpa If. Now, I did look this up, just a bit, and apparently it's to do with one of the characters from the first game. And that's kind of all I know, so let's go ahead and do novel. Okay, character introduction. I mean, sure? Oh! Okay. I did not think they would include people from the first game. Holy shit, okay. Wow. Let's go ahead and do from the beginning. Or trigger happy havoc if. The button of hope and the tragic warriors of despair. If Monochrome Theatre. Monochrome is monologue. The world is full of ifs. If Adam hadn't tied the knot with Eve, society as we know it would never have been born. The world that everyone lives in is just one outcome among countless ifs, and will continue to be a muddled world overflowing with infinite ifs. If is what's in miso soup, you know? What lies beyond this point is a scary world filled with iffy stepfathers who abandon their families. A clam bottle where the inside and the outside are filled with uncertainty. But don't break it, okay? It'd be so expensive that there's no way you'd ever be able to pay me back. No matter how you look at it, ifs are simply worlds like any other. No matter how hypothetical the story may be, the future is the only thing that's truly foggy, and the past is more solid than a frozen banana. You can't change a conclusion that has already happened. Even if you see a world that may have existed, it wouldn't affect the people living in reality, because if is only if after all. Even if a parallel world exists where a particular if actually happened, humans cannot cross the boundaries between worlds that easily. No matter how far if goes, it will always be what if scenario. Do you really want to see that? You've got some sick interests. And you think that's an insult to Makoto and the others after the tragedy they overcame? Though as far as I'm concerned, I'll still insult them. If you're gonna look at if, I think it's better if you view the outside from view the outside of the clam bottle first. It might be better if you view the ending of a video game called. Try to play it multiple times and spend your free time with Junko at least 2 times too. It may be ideal if you collect all the items and movies too. But if you guys have come this far, I'm sure you've already done all of that. Still, I'd buy the game if I were you. I'd actually buy at least 2 copies if I were you. The curtain lowers. Okay, so off to a neat start, I suppose. Oh, so is it literally just this? Not sure how I like that, but we'll see how it goes. What should I do with this? Makoto was at a loss. Despite his hesitation, his situation was extremely simple and composed of 3 key factors. The first factor was that Makoto was currently locked inside the school. Hope's Peak Academy is a school for the privileged elite, and each student attending possesses ultimate talent. Makoto was chosen to attend Hope's Peak Academy by lottery to hell. When he arrived for his first day of school, he immediately lost consciousness, and when he woke up, he saw exits and windows had been sealed shut. The next factor was Monochrome, a mysterious robot bear being operated by the mastermind, and the announcement he made to all the students. You'll be living your whole life in this academy, he declared. If you want to leave, then kill somebody. The strange remote control rebel was telling Makoto and his fellow Ultimates to start killing each other in exchange for their freedom. So this is just in case you haven't actually played the first one. But then the game is hoping that you've played the first one, but it's still telling the story as if you hadn't played the first one. which I just find a bit strange, but they learned that more than one Monokuma exists and that each one contains a bomb to prevent anyone from attacking them. On top of that, Monokuma announced that anyone who attempted to harm him would receive punishment. The third and final factor was the red button that Makoto was currently holding in his hand. The words "escape button" were crudely written on his button in I don't remember this. And though the first two factors were certainly causes for panic, Makoto only seemed at a loss over the third. During his free time, Makoto noticed that the school store was open, and his curiosity got the better of him. He was overwhelmed by the disjointed atmosphere upon entering, but his attention soon focused on a strange vending machine. The words "Mono Mono Machine" were written on it, and it seemed to accept the strange bear patterned coins they sometimes found inside the school. It seemed like a bad idea, but Makoto thought there might be a chance that this machine could dispense some way of escaping the school. And so he inserted the only coin he had into the coin slot, and the result was the escape button mentioned earlier. You see, I don't think I ever got an escape button, so I don't know what this is even on about. There's a limit to how much you can tease us. Maybe the mastermind who strapped us in here is making a cruel joke. These thoughts filled Makoto's mind, and he began to feel deeply discouraged. However, there's always a chance, right? Makoto was just an ordinary boy, and he only gained entry to Hope's Peak Academy through a lottery. Maybe that luck was the real deal. If this button is real, maybe I can let Sayaka. Makoto took a deep breath, slow breath, and pressed the button. Instantly, pain burst through his entire body. Ugh! Makoto's arms and legs went limp as he lost his balance and fell to the floor in a crumpled heap. As he breathed heavily, it dawned on him what had just happened. I got electrocuted? He looked down at the button in his hand and noticed a small needle sticking out of it. Makoto quickly surmised that an electrical current must have been running through it. After regaining enough of his strength to stand back up, Makoto thought about it once again. I should have known. It was a fake. Just how sick and twisted it was the mastermind. My head still feels a little woozy. I should go back to my room and rest today. With that in mind, Makoto walked out of the school store with slow, careful steps. But Makoto didn't know yet. If the escape button really was fake, it would have been an act of mercy from the mastermind. A small bear-shaped shadow began moving around inside the now empty school store. The shadow, Monokuma, stood before the Mono Mono machine and stared at it silently. But after some time had passed, he began to laugh. A cold, hollow laugh utterly devoid of emotion. I foresaw that. Despite the fact that he was alone, Monokuma began to talk, almost as if he was speaking to someone. Perhaps Monokuma was talking directly to the mastermind controlling him. I only put that in a Mono machine because I thought it'd be interesting if one of the last few survivors happened to win it. But with a success rate of 0.1%, I never thought anyone would actually win it. Perhaps I should have expected the ultimate lucky student to overcome such impossible odds. Monokuma started blushing and breathing heavily for no apparent reason. A robot like Monokuma doesn't need to breathe, but because his technology is super advanced, he can express himself like a living creature. Makoto was chosen through a lottery, and now he's won the escape button for a lottery. This is obviously impossible, right? Is this what a miracle is? Is this all systems go toward escaping? Is something that defies all common sense about to come crashing down into my world? Well, even though I don't really want all this at all, I'm starting to enjoy this new sensation. We'll be back after these commercials. Monokuma's internal machinery began running at full capacity, and his facial expressions began changing more smoothly than any humans could. Suddenly, his expressions immediately stopped, and he whispered through his speakers, "Hey, that's really good luck." After muttering something so ominous, Monokuma's loud, swishing laughter rang jarringly throughout the room. The situation that was about to unfold contained two conflicting emotions in equal measure: hope and despair. Okay. The next day, nighttime, student dormitory Makoto's room. Makoto lay on his bed, desperately struggling with the despair and hope chanting within him. Monokuma had forced the students to each watch a DVD earlier that day. So it's kind of going through the events of the main game, but just, I don't know, differently, I suppose? Makoto's showed a scene that suggested his parents and little sister were in danger, and now he found himself determined to leave school. It seems the other students were forced to watch shocking videos of their own. Videos that are so shocking that they were now determined to skip school too, even if it meant sacrificing someone to do it. However, it was obvious that these videos were part of Monokuma's trap. As long as a student killed someone, they were allowed to graduate and leave the academy. It seemed that the mastermind controlling Monokuma was hell-bent on making the students kill each other, but right now, Monokuma was most worried about Sayaka, who seemed to be incredibly distressed after watching her DVD. Sayaka wasn't just the ultimate pop sensation, she was also Makoto's classmate when they were students at Blackroot Junior High. Her optimism had been encouraging Makoto these past few days, and he was becoming a similar source of strength for her as well. If nothing else, I have to at least save Sayaka. As soon as Makoto thought that, he suddenly felt a small headache. Was he still reeling from being punched by Mondo the other day? Or was this a side effect of being electrocuted by the escape button? As Makoto pondered these things, the pain slowly subsided and he returned to his determined thoughts of escape. Anyway, we all need to work together and... Huh? At that moment, Makoto realized his goal has changed slightly. We all need to... Ideally, it would be best if everyone survived together. However, aside from Sayaka, Makoto had never met the other students before. He didn't even know... He didn't know if they could even be trusted in the first place. But at the moment, he's trusted them without even an ounce of suspicion. He believed they were worth helping, even at the cost of his own life, just like Sayaka. Why? The headache struck again, as if all the blood vessels in his brain were being individually sliced open. Why did I just think that? That I could trust the others as much as I trust Sayaka. Makoto tried to figure out why his thought process had suddenly changed. Something was wrong. The throbbing pain in his head seemed to synchronize with the strange feeling that something was approaching him. As a ray of light began to form within the dark recesses of his mind, the doorbell rang. Someone's here? He quickly got out of bed, and that only made his headache worse. With no concern for his safety, Makoto carelessly opened the door to his room and came face to face with Sayaka. I'm really sorry to come by so late. Sayaka? The pain. What are you doing out so late? The moment he saw her face, the pulsating pain in Makoto's head began accelerating. He felt like his world was being torn apart from the inside. Sorry to bother you, but something really weird just happened. And Makoto? What's wrong? You don't look so well. Sayaka was pale and had been trembling when she came into Makoto's room, but she seemed surprised to see that his complexion was worse than her own. Yeah, I'm fine. It's just my head. Makoto couldn't finish the sentence. His eyes rolled back into his head as he lost consciousness and slowly fell to the floor. And Sayaka's beautiful voice let out a scream as she stood over Makoto's body. I almost called Sayaka he. No, you know what? It's a... Okay, this is a visual novel, but this is literally mostly just reading. And I'm waiting for, like, you know, something different within the sort of story. But it feels like it's just literally retreading the first game. And I just don't feel comfortable with rereading over the first game when I've already read over the first game, you know, when I was actually playing the first game. So if it's literally going... You know what? Okay. Hold on. I suppose this what-if scenario is what happens when Makoto gets the escape button from the Mono machine. I suppose Okay, we'll see how this goes. Oh, no, I don't want to return, no. So, we're going to keep going and see where it leads. I mean, it may not even take that long, who knows, but, Oh, you're awake. Hey, you okay? How many fingers am I holding up? As Makoto regained consciousness, he was greeted by the sight of fingers adorned with long, fake nails being webbed in his face. Huh? Oh, you're Junko, right? Hey, why'd you sound so unsure? I'm a little shocked to hear you say that. Despite what she said, Junko, the ultimate fashionista, was laughing as if she found this all very amusing. Makoto looked around and realized he'd never seen this place before. It looked somewhat like a hospital. 3 beds, including his own, were lined up in the room with various medical instruments laid around them. The black ceiling felt strangely oppressive, but as he sat up, Makoto's mind immediately centered on one possibility. Where are we? Did we get rescued? That'd be nice, huh? She replied as she looked away. Junko explained that this was the nurse's office on the first floor of the academy. That Monica thing said, I can't bear to see my precious students getting sick, and opened this place up this morning. But don't you think it's suspicious? What if all these meds are poison? To be honest, I wouldn't really be surprised. Makoto remembered his encounter with the escape button and let out a small sigh. Oh, so why am I here, Junko? You should thank Circle for that. She was here the whole night taking care of you. Aww. She was? Junko ignored Makoto's surprise and continued candidly talking. But then Taka got all fired up and was like, we should take turns to washing over him. I just so happened to be on duty when you woke up. Well, and even then, only because Byakuya ditched. I see things. Like I said, you should thank Sayaka. Anyway, how are you feeling? Is everything alright? Makoto thought about it for a moment and remembered that he had been thinking about it just before he lost consciousness. This is kind of weird, but actually it's a really rude question, but what's up? Junko, we've never met each other before, right? Upon hearing this, Junko's eyes widened, but a few seconds later she began to laugh. Huh? Are you for real? That pickup line is so totally played out, you know? And even though she was grinning, a serious look came over her face. Just so you know, you shouldn't expect anything like that from me. I know I look this way, but I take my virtue pretty seriously. No, I mean, I never expected... Well, that's what I figured. It's obvious that you're a total mega male anyway. Makoto and Junko continued to talk to one another, although he wondered why Junko was talking to him instead of leaving to get the others. Makoto didn't question it. He just wanted to talk to someone, anyone. As long as he interacted with his fellow students, he believed he would learn the truth about what was going on inside his head. 10 minutes later, Junko mostly talked about alpha males and omega males, her time being homeless, and about her past and her dreams for the future. The last topic was a lot heavier than the previous ones, but Makoto's calm demeanor seemed to cheer her up. She smiled sincerely and said softly, Thanks, Makoto. Maybe it was a sign of gratitude for listening to her troubles, but she kept that same smile as she blurted out something horrifying. In return, I promise that if I do decide to kill someone, it won't be you. Just don't say scary stuff like that. At least that's what Makoto thought, but the words that came out of his mouth expressed a different sentiment. I see. Thanks. But I wouldn't want you to become the Blackened in the first place. For some reason, Makoto felt like the murderous words that came out of Junko's mouth seemed like a natural thing for her to say. She seemed very surprised about Makoto's response and quickly blurted out, Huh? Are you serious? I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course. Sorry for acting so weird. No worries, I just chalked this up to you being woozy from your recovery. She returned to her usual bubbly self and let out a big stretch and turned to Makoto. I'm gonna go now. Make sure you don't get killed before the next person arrives. After seeing her off, Makoto laid back down in the bed and started thinking to himself. What is a strange feeling? His dull headache continued as his thoughts began to blur. I was just talking to Junko, but I feel like I was talking to someone else. Who is she? The more he thought, the more it felt like his memories were sinking into a thick swamp. Each throb of pain pulsating in his head felt like a wave on the surface of the swamp. What is this feeling? It felt very unpleasant, as though someone's voice was screaming at him from inside his head. Makoto tried to organize his thoughts and go over everything that had happened to him, but he was interrupted by the sound of a bell. Unlike the dorm rooms, the nurse's office didn't have a doorbell. The bell sound that was ringing out through the entire building. Testing, mic check, 1, 2, this is a test of the school broadcasting system. It was Monokuma's voice. Now that Makoto has finally woke up, please assemble at the gym. Makoto listened to Monokuma's heartless order and got out of bed without complaining. I have to go. He walked one step at a time, in accordance with the rhythm of his throbbing headache. Slowly, he walked forward, not knowing if where he was headed was heaven or hell. The gym. Makoto, are you alright? Sayaka ran over to Makoto as soon as he entered the gym. Yeah, thanks. Sorry about yesterday. I guess I really worried you. Please don't apologize. I'm sorry too. I barged into your room when you weren't even feeling well. Now that you mention it, said Makoto, what happened yesterday? Sayaka looked away for a brief moment, but immediately turned back, smiled at Pop's sensation with a smile, and shook her head. Ah, it's nothing. I'll tell you some other time. Huh? While they were talking, Taka, the ultimate moral compass, stepped forward, pointing an accusation. Okay. You're late, Makoto. Explain why you were tardy. The other students collectively raised their eyebrows as if they were thinking, why is this guy yelling at someone who was sick? However, Makoto just smiled gently and answered him honestly. I didn't feel so well, so I was resting in the nurse's office. Can you note that in the daily logbook? I see. That's consistent with my information. Oh my god. The conversation progressed smoothly, and Taka smiled as he kept talking. I'll take full responsibility for recording it. You just focus on recovering. If you ever feel ill, just please report to the health committee. It seems like we'll need to appoint health committee members after this meeting, though. Taka walked away, mumbling to himself as he opened a daily logbook he found in the academy's supply room. Celestia, the ultimate gambler, saw the whole conversation and walked up to Makoto. Despite his unreasonable behavior, you knew exactly what to say to him. Huh? As soon as Celeste said that, it dawned on Makoto. It's true that he didn't feel well and that he had been resting in the nurse's office. But when Taka asked him why he was late, even though he should have known the reason, Makoto didn't feel annoyed or disappointed at all. It was as if he expected Taka to say that. Makoto felt strange that he had accepted Taka's personality so quickly. He couldn't understand why he asked Taka to do something as unnecessary as recording it in the daily logbook in the first place. Why did I say that? It's like I was used to it. His response to Taka's demands came as naturally as to him as breathing. Why? Every time he tried to think about it, his headache grew even worse, as Makoto struggled to think through the pain of his headaches. Jumped out from behind the podium and began twirling. Hey guys, is everyone here? He sounded like he was about to lead the students on a field trip. There's not a single one of them. I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna insert a bookmark here because that's just what I'm gonna do. But I will say it is definitely difficult to just read this without the voice acting because I'm so used to like the voices from Monokuma and even maybe like the voices from other characters, because you get literally none of that here. I will admit it's a bit of a hard read. So, as much as this is a bit interesting, I will probably just... I think I'm going to keep going on my own, and then I'll probably just, update you guys with my thoughts at the end of the video, in the next recording. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it there. So, I guess I'll see you guys in a moment, or I will end off the video. I have no idea what I'm going to do. Alright everybody, I'm back. and I have gone through a little bit more of the Danganronpa If novel, and one thing I will say is I unfortunately did not finish it or did not complete reading it, and most of the reason, or mostly the reason, is because I just found it kind of boring. Not so much the story itself. Like, the story itself, I didn't find uninteresting. I just found it, the way that it was being presented, I found it kind of uninteresting. And the reason why is because I'm like so used to how Danganronpa is usually being presented. Like, you've got the character on the screen, you've got the dialogue, and you've even got like some voice lines here and there. I'm so used to that when it comes to Danganronpa. So when you've got like a whole entire novel, and here's the thing, Danganronpa itself is a visual novel. I mean, it does have gameplay segments here and there, but it is a visual novel. Yet, this Danganronpa If was like a fundamental visual novel. Like, it literally, all there is just text and, background and music. There is literally like no voices involved. And I just found it, I mean, because I'm so used to the way that it's usually presented, because it's sort of going back to basics in a way, like reading a book with music, and that's literally it. Just reading a book with music. It felt a bit too basic for me personally, and I don't necessarily mind reading when it's just words and music. But because you're so used to how it's usually presented in the game, and then because it's so dialed back in that way in this Danganronpa If novel, it just felt so bleh. So I just couldn't, I really, really couldn't finish it. And I know that it's about 1 or 2 hours long of reading, but personally, I didn't find it interesting enough to keep going. And plus, there's so much going on that the structure of it and the flow of it, it felt a bit like, I don't know, all over the place. I mean, that is kind of Danganronpa in a nutshell, but this is from an amazing writer, apparently, and I mean, I can't really corroborate how amazing that writer is because I've not consumed or read anything that the writer has made before, so I can't really judge it. I can only judge it based on this specific thing and not anything else, and all I can say is the story itself is okay, I guess, because we're following two characters, Makoto and Mikuro, and with Makoto, he's having to remember like everything, like bit by bit, because of getting the escape button, which the question is he remembering everything, or is the escape button a way for his future self to come back to his past self, like in a time travel way, and that's why he's able to know these things? Or did he already know these things but just forgot these things? It's just, I mean, maybe it'll be cleared up the more you read on, but I just couldn't be asked to read on, so I will never get this answered. I mean, whoever has actually read the whole thing, then I guess whoever's watching, please do comment down if it's like a time travel thing, going back to your past self, or sending the memories of your future self down to your past self's brain. or if Makoto is literally just remembering everything. Like, please do let me know which one it is. But apart from all of that, because we're following Makoto and Mikuro, we are looking into Makuro's character as she's dealing with her sister, and also trying to heal Makoto because he got injured by the spikes that were originally for Mikuro. And once again, I found this interesting in a way, but the way that the novel is structured and the flow of it, it felt like it's dragging, and especially how it keeps on jumping back between Makoto and Mikuro and the rest of the characters. It feels a lot like it's doing the whole boomerang storytelling, and I know that's not exactly boomerang storytelling, but the way that I understand it is you're focusing on one location or one scene, and you kind of step away from another scene for a while, and then after a while you go back to that scene to see the aftermath, and it just feels like boomerang storytelling because it's, you're so focused on what's happening right now, and then it goes into the next scene, but it's not to do with the characters that you're currently following. You're going back to the scene with the other characters, and it's just like, why? Why would you do that? I mean, on one hand, if you care about the characters' reactions to things, then I guess it's fair enough. But on a whole, you're putting focus in, I don't know, not so much the wrong areas, but you're not exactly giving the reader what they want. And I feel like as a amazing writer, kind of soiled that, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not a writer myself, and I will admit I've not read much myself. Because here's the thing, I'm not really much of a book reader. I'm more of a media reader. I like things that are like how should I put this? I like things that have both visual and audio in it. Like, you're immersing yourself into the world. Like, when it comes to just, reading words on a page, if it's just information, I don't necessarily mind that. But if it's a story, books don't really do anything to me. It's just like this visual novel, Danganronpa visual novel. The way that it's presented is very much like a book, but with music. Now, surely that would be great for me, right? Because I like to have words and music, or I like to have visuals and music as well. But visuals doesn't just include words. It includes, well, I mean, okay. Danganronpa F also included a background and different backgrounds, but okay, look, I just didn't like it. Okay, I just didn't like it. But this isn't to say that it's bad in any way. It's just I find it flawed. I mean, of course, I don't think that a masterpiece really exists. I mean, people can call something a masterpiece because of like how they feel about it, but nothing's really like 100% a masterpiece. So if anyone calls this a masterpiece, get help. But no, for real, if anyone calls this a masterpiece, then that's fine. That's okay. I just don't think that this novel was that good. And yeah, I've got really nothing else to say about it. other than I'm glad I tried it out, like, fully. I think I got to about 300 pages, and I looked it up, and apparently there's 700 pages. 700. I am not putting myself through that. That's way too many for my taste. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. So thank you so much for watching, whoever is watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.